everybody, Kathy at Northstar Prepsteader. Well, I'm trying to protect my septic pipe right now, and it's not the ideal situation, but it's what I have at this point. Yes, it has to all be redone, but that takes funds and that's just not happening at this point in my life. So I have to insulate it and make sure that it's taken care of. So I know so many of you are from the south or warmer climates than Minnesota, and my practices and what I have to do for my garden and my yard are so different, so foreign to what you're used to doing. You perhaps have an area where you can just leave things in the ground all winter. You don't have to worry about the ground freezing. I know in Arkansas it's that way. Even though you can get some cold temperatures, the ground doesn't freeze down. We get a minimum of 3 feet of permafrost, of frost going down through the ground, minimum. It can go up to 9 feet if we have a cold winter with very little snow. So a lot of things I do are really brand new to you, and so that's why I'm showing you all these basic things that I do around here to have to get ready for winter. So just preparing different things, like, you know, I don't have a garage or sheds or anything. I would love to have a shed someday, sometime soon, but and then I wouldn't have to haul all of my garden stuff down into my basement, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, just getting the lawnmower prepared for winter, dumping out the fuel, bringing it in, storing it in the basement, cleaning it up, bringing the hoses in, because otherwise they will freeze so solid, they'll be so brittle and they can break, and it degrades the rubber. Preparing, like I said, my septic area, preparing my well area, preparing so many different things. And I have really a very simple homestead, really basic here. I don't have a lot of fancy things that a lot of other people do. Just thought I'd show you what I have to do. Also, it's really important to be raking up the leaves in the fall. I mean, it's pretty to have a whole blanket of leaves on your ground and different things, but because of the weight of the snow through the winter, and in the spring, when you've got all those leaves in there matted and just frozen in there, and ice and a thick barrier for the grass to be able to receive the sunlight and the warmth and everything that it needs to come back, that once things are thawing out, the snow is melting, the ground is starting to thaw. If the leaves are on there, it's going to kill your lawn. It's really important to get the leaves up. There have been once or twice that I've left the leaves on the ground because I just haven't been able to get to it, and boy, it's a chore in the spring if I want to save my lawn. One year I didn't get them up in the spring and it killed a lot of my grass. So there's a lot of benefits to collecting the leaves in the fall, getting them for covering my beds, for putting it in the compost, and all kinds of different things. Okay, this is the east side of my house. And my situation is that my septic pipe comes out here and goes out to my septic field in the yard there. But the pipe, which should be 4 feet underground, is only about 6 inches underground at the most. And so it can freeze, and it has frozen in the winter. What I have to do is insulate this whole area. The best thing that I found is putting a bunch of leaves in a tarp and making a nice thick bed around here. So that's what I have to do and get going on that. Okay, I've got this great big tarp, and there's one pile of leaves that I'll fill it up with and show you how I do this. Alright, and there's my second pile of leaves. And I drag the tarp over to this. I found this so much easier to do, to just load it up at the spots and then drag the whole tarp to where I need it, rather rather than trying to bring all the leaves over here. Just makes it a little bit easier. In the spring, I will take the tarp and dump this for compost. So I've loaded this tarp with leaves and organic straw. So I'm folding this under and then this over to try to keep the rain out of it. Tuck it all in. And then I weight it down with this old hose. There we go. One more winter task done. Whew. All right. So anyway, I don't have to worry about my septic pipe freezing this winter. It's got a really good layer of insulation. Okay, I have all this wonderful straw that I'm going to cover my strawberry beds with. Now the purpose of this, well, first of all, this is organic straw. So I have some farmers that I know, some friends that have an organic farm, and so they grow organic crops. And I was able to get a couple bales of straw from them, which I was so excited about. Okay, the purpose of this for the strawberries is, first of all, I want to get to this point where the ground is starting to freeze and the strawberries are done, they've frozen, they're not going to be growing anymore, the ground is getting hard, so they're cold and frozen, and I want them to stay in that state of being frozen. So in order to do that, I need to insulate it to stay cold. It's just like having a cooler that you put ice in or something cold and you want it to stay cold. This is the same concept. And then in the spring, if we have early, an early spring, and we have, thaw and freeze and thaw, freeze, and it goes back and forth, that is really, really hard on the strawberries. So until past the last frost, we want to keep them covered. Then when we know that we're done with the last frost, then I will take this off and remove that, and then the ground can warm up and the strawberries can grow. But if the strawberries aren't covered and we allow that to continue to just thaw and then freeze, it'll kill the strawberries. So I'd rather not have that happen. And so, especially with raised beds, when we've got the cold coming in from the side too, we want to keep it protected. Might have too much straw here. Okay, I've got a couple old T-posts here. And there I have insulated my septic pipe as well as my strawberry bed, like with half a bale of straw. And I still have a little bit left over here. I've gotten 2 bales of straw, so here I'm going to have the other one kind of insulating the house there at that point, and then I'll just pile snow up around it. But all of this straw is going to go into my beds. I'm going to try some core, what do you call it? Anyway, it's the core gardening thing where you put straw down into the center of it that Luke at MI Gardener has done, and he said it's great. Anyway, my beds do need some straw in them, so this is what I am going to do for it. So you guys, that will be done next summer, or spring, probably June, when we can get into it. Still have some other winter things to do, but I'm gonna call it quits for tonight. Y'all take care. God bless. Always have hope. Bye-bye.